Hi everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres, and this morning we are actually having decent weather, cross fingers, and I'm going to start working on this bed. This bed contains iris, which were a gift from friends, and daffodils and tulips. Now, unfortunately, most of our tulips at this end were eaten, and I'm pretty sure I know who the culprit was on that one. I think we had a couple of ground crickets that did that damage. But at any rate, I'm going to be expanding this bed. We decided that it's just a little too narrow. We can't add the things we want to add to it, and having it this narrow makes it less of a volume of dirt to keep moist, and it's easier to actually keep a larger volume moist. So I'm going to be cleaning the bed, I'm going to be expanding it, and I'm going to be making it safe so the gophers can't come in. So let's get going. This is flagstone, and it's heavy. Oops. Okay, whew. That qualifies as step one. The pavers, the flagstone pavers are all out of the way now, and this is the little fence. Now, step two get the block out of the way. Now, if you're wondering why I'm moving everything so far away, because I wouldn't usually do that, it's because I want clear access to this side of the bed. My intention is to use the tractor to move some of the stuff on this side. So I have to have complete access to this side area here. Also, we're going to be laying down more hardware cloth and landscape fabric over here. So yeah, this just plain needs to be clear. I also need to chat with Henry about exactly where he plans to run some of the new pipes so that I'm not doing work that's going to have to be undone. I will get the bed in place. We will get the bed in place because he's going to be the one running the tractor. And I'll get it planted and fenced, and then I will worry about putting in the flagstone. That's the last step to just make it look pretty and keep stuff from growing up around it. And create a nice little pathway so you can always get in there and that sort of thing. And these beds obviously have to be cleaned. They have a few weeds. I can see there's some yarrow coming in over here. That's a plague here, so that has to go. And there's a few leftover weeds from last year. I want to get this done fairly quickly, like within the next week or so, because there will be some flower seeds in here from marigolds, and I don't want to disturb those once they actually start to grow. So, step 2. Whew. Step 2. And as you can see, I got some of this stuff here cleaned up. I'm trying to keep this random stuff here from being in the way too much. And I think I need a water break. And then we'll get on to the next phase. Straightening out the dirt, laying down new hardware cloth. There's hardware cloth right there. And I think, yeah, we're going to improve this. We're going to make it bigger, better, stronger. Sounds like a bad movie, doesn't it? Well, we hope you've enjoyed this little expedition out into the garden there. We decided probably the year before last that we really needed to rebuild that bed. The shape of the bed just really doesn't work in our climate. There's a very narrow point on one end, and no matter what I ever did, running individual water lines and everything else down there, I could never make the plants that I was trying to grow over there happy. Henry and I spent some time poking and pointing and pacing to figure out exactly what we really needed to do. The conclusion is we're cutting off the point completely and we're going to make the bed wider, and we're also going to make it more of an L shape instead of just a strip. Our goal is to have the bed we're working on right now and the bed closest to the gate be mostly perennials, so that if we decide to pop something colorful in there, cool, but we basically have a good set of flowers that will come up every year with very little anything other than maybe, cleaning the previous year's weeds out and stuff like that. I had salvaged some wildflowers a couple of years ago that produce these little bitty daisies about that big, and they're cool because they actually change color. They start out white and then they get pinker and pinker as they get older. They're lovely, and they come up literally just out in the middle of nowhere here without water, so they don't require too much water, and we're working hard to get other plants in there that are at least drought tolerant and heat tolerant. We decided we really had to remake that because it was frustrating. You really just couldn't make it work no matter how much water you had. So that's our thought on this process. We've learned the hard way. This is a difficult environment. Every place else I've lived, pretty much anything you did with your garden beds, we could make it work. The hard part is that's not the only bed that we really need to finish before we plant the summer vegetables. But never a dull moment. The Every Bit Counts Challenge is a challenge that I became involved with on Instagram last year. Three Rivers Homestead sponsored it, and we chatted with her over the winter and asked if we could basically bring it to YouTube. We found it to be such a positive, uplifting, unifying concept at a time when there was not a lot of uplifting and unifying in the world. It inspires people. It inspires people to get off the sofa. It inspires people to learn new things, whether you're baking or growing things from scratch or just buying a plant at the hardware store and growing it for the first time. Learning to sew something. It doesn't matter what you're doing. The whole idea is that you're learning things, you're growing as a person. And then you're sharing it and you have people who care about it. So we would like to encourage everyone out there to try something new, to share what they're doing, even if it's not new. Do you like to bake? Do you like to cook? Do you like to learn new things? Share it. If you have a YouTube channel, share what you're doing on your channel And even if it's not what you usually do, you can still do a short or just a shorter video or something to show what's going on. And make sure you hashtag it with the hashtag every bit counts challenge. Just put a post on any of our videos or any of the videos from any of the other channels that are participating in this. You know, when you see them post about every bit counts challenge, put a hashtag every bit counts challenge on your post and say, you know, I baked a cake yesterday, or I learned this, or I did that. Take credit for what you're doing and be proud of yourself. And we'll be proud of you too, because doing something is a decision, and sure the heck beats doing nothing. So be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because obviously there's a lot going on here and you're going to have to see it. Otherwise you'll miss it, you know. So until next time, bye.